And we're live.
We
and
are?
We go to media assets. And we go down. We go down here. And then we do the thing.
Shut up and sit down.
It's the Media Virus Podcast. Now here's your infection team.
All right, hot damn, do we have a show for you people this week in the B Block. Welcome to the Media Virus Podcast. I am Matty Rockdeff, the mattiest of all Rockdeffs, and I'm proof positive that anyone can have a podcast. And, you know, it's funny. I can say that over and over in my head, but I go to say it live on the air. And
I mean, that's life.
Just
life behind a mic, man. You think you've got it, and then sometimes it's
that's the old monologue where I used to, and I just figured let me throw it in B Block. You know, most of it, some of it, whatever. It gets it started.
Yep.
You know, that's really sometimes the hardest thing to do is just to get it started.
It is, especially B Block doesn't really have its own open. I mean,
no. A Block has an open.
C Block now has an open.
B Block has its own open. But B Block just kind of is kind of like the middle child, like forgotten about, really, sometimes.
I'll have to come up with something.
You call it the middle child syndrome. Something real old school talk showy, like Dean Martin. And now it's the Matty Rockdeff Hour. We're gonna dive into some real campus drama that's hotter than a flaming hot Cheetos. I fucked it up. See what I did there? Yeah, it's all right.
Not a flaming hot bag. I fucked up.
You fucked it up too.
Not a bag of flaming hot Cheetos, Matt.
Hotter than a bag of flaming hot Cheetos. Mahmoud Khalil, a Palestinian fucker.
You're sure it's not Tourette, right?
Dude.
Like, I've seen it recently. I've seen a there's a bunch of Tourette videos on TikTok.
Oh yeah, I love them.
So do I.
I love those people.
And you know, I particularly like the ones where the people have the really good Tourette's.
Yeah, like fuck face.
Yeah, foul language, loud shrieks. Yeah, the good stuff, right? So there's a girl, and she'll do a video of herself making a sandwich, and just all over the place with cunt. She's British, so she says cunt all the time. But she says all these crazy things. So because I liked that the other night, as it goes by, I start getting other ones. And I recently became aware, apparently it's a thing with people who suffer from Tourette, that they have trouble with eggs.
Oh yeah.
Like when they have trouble like preparing eggs or using eggs in a recipe because
I've seen that. I've seen something
resist like cracking them. And like there's a dude, he's trying to bake a cake and he smashes them on his own head, and you can see him getting mad because he didn't want to.
So that's what me trying to read this made you think of it. A dude smashing eggs into his head.
Well, right. I mean, you started rolling off with all the non sequitur cursing.
Well, a Palestinian, God damn it, a Palestinian activist and Columbia University graduate got himself arrested by ICE on March 8th of 2025. Now, if you're wondering why, let's back up a little bit. Khalil's been in the headlines for his involvement in pro-Palestinian protests. And it turns out that the Trump administration has put a target on the back of foreign students involved in these activities. Surprise, surprise. Legal chaos and protests on March 10th, 2025, a federal judge temporarily blocked Khalil's deportation. But don't think it's over. Protests erupted in New York City with faculty, rabbis, and immigrant rights groups throwing full-blown press conferences claiming this arrest is an attack on free speech.
It is.
But let's be real. Colombia doesn't exactly have a history of defending free speech when it's a right-wing speaker being shut down. Funny how that works. I'm going to try to just exercise my mouth for a little bit.
Go ahead.
You can say stuff.
Can I?
Yeah.
I really do. I agree. I feel like this is an attack on the First Amendment. As a permanent green card resident, he's entitled to the First Amendment while he's here. So,
I mean, that's
if
up for debate. I think that's part of the debate. Now, I went to Perplexity.
Yeah.
And I asked it, what difference in rights, what the difference in, green card holders to U.S. citizens.
Uh-huh.
And I copied it into the comment section here.
Okay.
And green card holders, lawfully permanent residents, have many of the same rights that U.S. citizens, but with some key differences. And here's the breakdown. Well, what rights they can do? What can they do? They can live and work in the U.S. All right, without restriction. They have legal protections by the U.S. laws, including the Constitution and civil rights laws. Own property and businesses, public education and benefits, military service, and petition for family members. What they can't do, they can't vote in federal elections. Limited political participation. So, being a protester is participating in politics. That's what you're doing, and you're not allowed to do that. Travel risk of deportation. You can be deported for certain crimes or national security reasons. Even
limited political participation is that they can't run for most elected offices or hold certain government jobs requiring citizenship.
Well, listen,
that doesn't mean you can't get up and say, "Hey, I don't agree with this. Here's my opinion."
No, that's actually that's my interpretation of it.
That's the explanation is right on the goddamn page, Matt. How can
I understand that the explanation is on the page? You can't run for most of but it's a brief.
But that has nothing to do with standing up against what you don't believe in.
Wow.
I may not like his message, but I will fight to the death for him to be able to say it, because if they can decide what's right or wrong for him to say is good or bad, means they can come over here and say that to us.
Now, according to Perplexity, down here, in the case of Mahmoud Khalil, because it knows why I asked, even though he is a legal resident, ICE can still detain and try to deport him, something that would never happen to a U.S. citizen for the same actions.
So just the fact that he has a green card means that they can arrest and deport him, or try to.
Well,
that doesn't make it right or a good idea.
No, it means they can.
Just yes.
Yeah. And he knew that. You know what I mean? Like I
they're still in violation of his First Amendment right.
His passport is of the passport of the country he's from.
Yes, but he has a permanent residence card here.
I understand that.
He has a permanent residence card and is entitled to the rights that we are here.
You don't just come here and get rights because you decide to come here. All right? You got to take a test. There's a reason. There's a reason they make you 3 to 5. Right.
He's here on a green card. The way to get citizenship is you have to live here with a green card for a while.
Right.
As if you were a citizen.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't he live like he's a citizen? You're telling me
this is what happened. This guy
lived
in a shithole that sucked. Okay. He said, I don't want to live in this shithole that sucks. I'm going to go and I'm going to get educated. And then the goddamn propaganda machine of Columbia University somehow emboldened him to speak out against the way the country that he fled to is treating the shithole that he left.
But part of the deal is you get to voice those opinions here without being targeted, without being packed up and sent back.
If all right, so and we've had this conversation several times already.
Yes.
Knowing it was going to be, a contentious conversation between us. And when we
start letting them fuck with any of the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments, we let them fuck with any one of the first 10, they can fuck with any of the others.
No, I understand that. And if he were a citizen and this were happening, if he had gotten his green card, done his 3 to 5 years, taken the test, and was a citizen, I would be on a different side of things.
And next
week here on a temporary citizenship.
Next week, it's going to be a leftist. You don't like their opinion, and they should have had a better opinion, so they can go down. It runs down the line. Eventually, they'll be coming for you.
Let it. I mean, I
and that seems to be kind of where we're going, man. It's like, if we just have to give up a few rights to fuck the brown people and make America Jesus-y again, that's what we're going to do. And
no, we already gave up a bunch of rights with the Patriot Act. I think what they're trying to do is reverse a lot of that shit.
I wouldn't count on that.
I mean, I would
they still want to be able to look up your name and address as to, when you try to move. And
yeah,
nobody repealed the law that you had to get the special driver's license to travel domestically now, or use a passport. That was probably a good idea to get rid of, because we're not supposed to have a federal ID. But that was.
I mean, you want to delve into other corridors.
That's to keep us safe on the airplanes. No, I mean it's.
Well, if people didn't try to fucking blow up airplanes, we wouldn't have this fucking problem. If people didn't, not for nothing, India Airlines just had an issue with thing that asked people to stop flushing clothes down the toilet. Like, what the fuck is wrong with everything is fucked. People don't know how to act anymore.
No.
But the concept to me is like you left a place, like everyone here is an immigrant or the family of an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very few, except for the Native Americans, the Mexicans, actually have
some of them, the ones that have
all of them. You think about it, dude. Think about an Indian. Think about an Mexican.
The conquistadores were from Spain.
It's, I guess,
Europeans.
Can you consider it a conqueror or an immigrant? But right, but the fact is, the way this country is set up is we are a group that is from other places.
Yep.
And the great melting pot of America, and
the price of admission is we all get to kick you until we're ready to accept you. Is that where you're going?
I mean, that's not where I'm going, but I like the way you think, man.
I mean, that's kind of what this is. It's like, oh, no, you can't. No, you're just going to have to do whatever we say and live in fear of us coming to throw you out until we decide we're not going to.
I mean, isn't that every green card holder?
No.
I mean, like if if a green card holder gets arrested for stealing catalytic converters, they get deported.
They can lose the green card and be deported. Yes.
Right.
This guy wasn't stealing catalytic converters.
How do we know that?
Because he was standing on a street corner saying, "Hey, I don't agree with this thing that's going on."
Right, but how do we know that he's not linked to other terrorist organizations? Like, how do you know that he's? How do we know that they don't have piles of fucking information on this dude? You know what I mean?
But when you make it look like you're just grabbing people for having an opinion and not talking about it, there's an issue. You don't have to show your whole hand, but you say, hey, we went and locked this guy up because we have material evidence that he was part of something. Changes the whole face of that story.
I think I think the big difference is whether or not you believe that a green card holder has all of the same rights as an American citizen or the protections under the Constitution.
I think.
I mean, we're trying to get the best and brightest.
More rights than not.
Yeah, I would say more. But like, if you're actively protesting the United States, I don't know what he's been saying. I mean, like I said, I put the ultra and ultra crepidarian. I didn't even read the article. This is what Byte told me to think.
He's pro Hamas, which not a popular opinion.
It's not even a smart
not a.
If he's pro, not for nothing. I remember Hamas being like death to America and being at war with us. You know what I mean?
Point, yeah.
And then somehow they got legitimized as a government.
That still hasn't happened. They're not. I mean, they're acting in that role, but they're not legitimized by any.
They're acting as a god. Like okay. If you're pro Hamas,
because Palestine technically doesn't exist any longer.
Go ahead. If you think Hamas is great, go. There it is. I feel like that's here. We'll give you a plane ticket home. It sounds like that's what he wants. If he's pro Hamas, because I'm not. I don't want Hamas here.
Basically,
I don't want him starting.
He's protesting the fact that Israel's running into Gaza and having their way.
Yes, let's protest that. That's not right.
Right,
I agree.
But
Hamas is not.
No, but Hamas is defending Gaza at this point in the name of Palestinians. That's where the issue comes in. Is if you're anti-Israel on this war, it makes you pro Hamas.
You know what you could be? You'd be fucking neutral.
You could.
You cannot think anything about it.
You could.
You can leave the place that sucks. You can come
and you can
make a life for yourself. You can graduate
from Columbia on a street. You could talk about that opinion on a street corner. And now if somebody's mad that you didn't make a decision, they'll deport you. It's the bottom line is this is not cool. If he simply was arrested for what they're calling an illegal protest, what was illegal about the protest other than the fact that you don't like what he said? This is the thought police, dude. It's the fucking thought police. I mean, let's talk about some of your opinions. Maybe they'll come for you.
I got lots of opinions. And that's like I was saying this yesterday. That's the hardest thing like about a dictatorship is like sometimes you agree with what's going on, and that's what makes it hard. Now,
yeah,
I respect everyone on an individual level.
I have an objectivity to the Constitution that.
I understand that. To me, just because you have a green card does not mean that you have all the rights of a citizen. That's not what that means. That means this is a trial run. See if you can make it become a citizen. It's a temporary 3 to 5 year program.
Okay. So which rights does he get?
Well, he gets the right to remain silent. That's what he gets. He gets that right. He gets the right not to incriminate himself. Police
Miranda is very specific to when you're arrested.
I understand.
And I'm not entirely sure that you're Mirandized when you are arrested by ICE.
No. because Miranda writes a lot of times do not, especially if under the Patriot Act,
and that's what they
arrested for some terrorism shit.
And that's what they say.
You're a fucking.
They say, oh, he's brown, no rights.
Or it's not that he's brown. It's his way. It's his. It's his political beliefs that have gotten him into trouble.
Well,
now, I mean, he's being defended.
So
he's being defended heartily. So he's not out there on his own. You know what I mean? So
agreed.
So there's, there are people on his side, and I don't know the guy. Maybe he's a fucking salt of the earth type of dude, except for loving Hamas. But
maybe his opinion makes sense. We haven't talked to him. The bottom line is, I really don't give a fuck what his opinion is. I give a fuck that he has the right to talk about it, and somebody's trying to stop him.
I understand that. I too have been railing about free speech through the whole Biden administration. When we weren't allowed to say fucking anything that offended anyone. I get it. Okay. And I know I understand I'm offending people now, but for the things that I'm saying.
Just to be clear,
I'm exercising my rights as an American citizen because I was lucky enough. I won the fucking lottery and was born here.
To be clear, we said a lot of offensive shit during the Biden administration.
I know, on purpose.
That's right. So
push the envelope.
We're not really included in that. We.
What do you mean?
We said whatever the fuck we wanted to.
Yeah,
and always have, and
we're not going to stop. And I might be misguided on this, but I can't let go of the audacity. I would never. Who thinks, go to Russia, try that shit. Go to China. Most of the countries you can't say anything. The citizens can't say.
Right.
Why would you come here and shit all over this place that's giving you opportunity?
But it was less about protesting us, and just the fact that he was running his mouth about his opinion. I mean, part of the problem is we are typically pro-Israel in these issues. And, if you've got a problem with that, you are welcome to say, hey, that's not right.
I'm not pro anything. Right? What I am, the only thing I'm pro is USA. Okay? And if you want to argue that Palestine has a right to its own sovereignty and a right
I'd like to argue that it's really none of our fucking business, even though we created the problem.
It's none of our business, but people want, there should be a Palestine state, should have its own sovereignty.
I mean,
let's take a look at another issue across the fucking globe that we should not have any fucking opinion about. People think that Ukraine should have their own sovereignty. They should have that they should be their own nation and not just the annex of Russia.
I mean, it goes further than that. I mean, the 38th.
Going to a basic point. Give me a second, will you?
Oh, for fuck's sake! I was going to bring up our good friend, north of the 38th parallel.
Canada.
The 38th parallel.
North Korea.
North Korea. Kim Jong-un. I mean, the 38th parallel divides Korea to a north and a south. There was another place we didn't fucking belong.
Listen, there's a lot of places we don't listen. All right. The only reason that we went to war in Korea is we had all this cool shit to play with and the war was over.
Right.
That was it.
We had leftovers.
Yeah. We needed to do something with this. And we needed to keep GS. We couldn't keep all those people in. We just didn't have the housing for them.
Harry, this shit's gonna go bad. We got to take it somewhere and do some stuff with it,
right?
And that was Harry Truman, by the way. That was
I do.
That was a solid historical reference.
It really was. I watched a lot of MASH, dude. Watched a lot of MASH. And I had a history teacher And his only qualification was that he was married to the crossing guard and he was old. I went to a Catholic school. This was like 5th grade.
Wow.
And
I mean, dude, 5th graders are dumb. You don't have to be very smart.
38. Yeah, he's like, that's what he said. It's literally what he said. You guys are dumb.
That was his job interview. Oh, 5th graders are dumb. I can teach them.
And he used to go 38, 40 or fight. 38 something or fight. And he explained what it was. It was the 38th parallel.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that was so important because it was just a half point. Let's settle for half. What the fuck's going on? Where was I going? God damn it. I was making a good point. Oh. So all of these places should have sovereignty except us. You know what I mean? It's kind of my point.
But sovereignty isn't telling people to shut the fuck up and get off the street.
I mean, it is when they,
No, it's not. Sovereignty is running your own country. We've got plenty of that. We run other people's countries.
We got a lot of countries to run. You know? Again, I put the ultra and ultra crepidarian. I got no idea what I'm talking about. I have no education.
At the end of the day, like I said, I will die on the hill for the First Amendment.
As will I. I will fight on that hill with you. But for us. And
what?
For us.
For us.
I don't know how hard I'd fight for other people. I mean, you understand where I think you understand my position quite well.
Yeah, I mean,
you just I am.
You feel like he's ungrateful. I feel like he's trying on these rights that he may not have been able to exercise before.
He might not have been able to exercise. Yeah, I mean, you gotta kind of smarten up too. Change of administration. What? This guy seems like a dick. You know what I mean?
But
let me go fucking open up Hamas. Let me go open up a fucking Baba Ganoush shop.
Nobody should feel that way in the United States, though. When the new administration comes in, you shouldn't feel like you're going to be attacked immediately.
Yeah, but when you're talking about how lax the previous administration was on so many things, just to put so we're just enforcing laws. I mean, I know in this particular case, we're talking about this.
They revoked his green card so that they could arrest him. They didn't have anything to arrest him on, so they revoked his green card and said he was here illegally.
And that went through lawyers. You know what I mean? Can we do that? Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, doesn't make it right. Most lawyers are not nice people. And even
I'm trying to invite a lawyer to come on and discuss this with us, and you just blanketly saying that lawyers aren't nice people. Make it quite difficult for us.
I said not all lawyers are nice people.
You think I'm going to go find the one?
Well, I mean,
one of the few that's nice.
Hey,
I guess if they're coming on, they would be, right?
They would have to be.
It'd have to be something.
We have a certain vibe here.
Yeah.
I think if we had a lawyer here that wasn't nice, they'd be attacked quite violently. Or at least viciously.
Did we plow through that copy? I don't think I want to finish it.
I'm pretty sure we did.
All right. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, I read that stupid part. Again, that's what ChatGPT said I should think.
I mean,
go ahead.
I just overall, there's a lot that just doesn't make sense in that, we seem to be making up a lot of shit on the spot. And that's no way to do it. Because if they can start making shit up on the spot for somebody who is allowed to be here, the next step is the people who are citizens. And I really don't want them making up shit just so they can come get me. Because I'm the kind of guy that has a lot of ammunition out there and lobs plenty more over the bow every chance I get.
Yeah, we just open our mouths every week and just shit comes out. And we're, like, I want, how much, like, if we had followers, how much backlash do you think I would actually get for the things I've said so far? But
we'd be, I mean, honestly, we'd be in the news. If someone was actually paying attention, we'd be in the news, I think. Yeah. We've said some unpopular shit.
Yeah. We'd be, oh dude, if people paid attention, we'd have rallies against us. And that's fine.
Yeah. No, I welcome it. Go down to your local park or city square and get yourself a piece of poster board and make up one of those silly signs. Make sure it says something good. I mean, if you're not going to be that creative, at least, like fuck Maddie. Or my clitoris is dry,
Yesterday, when I got out of work, I just hit Siri and yelled, "Call my clitoris!" in the Wawa parking lot.
That's funny.
So
that's how Siri knows me then.
Well, it knows you. It calls you Mike Literis. I always say Mike Litoris. The difference in pronunciation. They're both right. All right. I think I mean
we do have a C block coming up.
We do have a C block coming up. In that C block, we are going to discuss a bunch of dude, we're going to talk about this artist who was he wanted to starve pigs.
What a scumbag.
To protest, meat farming. I got lost a little bit. I was confused. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the India Airlines thing. We're going to talk about. I think we're going to probably talk more about that mortician that stuff that guy's junk in his mouth. So we got some shit coming up to talk about. In the C block, I just hit a fucking thing from the both of them. One of them's 10 minutes. One of them's 15 minutes out. So
all right,
gives us time to gather up, maybe loosen a little bit. Maybe I'll do some jaw exercises, get these mouth muscles working because they haven't seemed to be working. The talking and the reading hasn't been going so good today.
Yeah,
it's funny. I did a lot of writing, did a lot of working, but the delivering.
Just be careful. It seems like your tongue's getting in front of your eye teeth there, and you can't see what you're saying.
I think that might be the problem.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back in just a bit with the C block, Big Daddy's C block, in fact, right after we close the show down. This episode of the Media Virus Podcast is brought to you by 302-46-VOICE. That's 302-46-VOICE. If you want my voice on your project, dial 302-46-VOICE today. Don't forget to check out our sister show on the Media Virus Podcast Network, Stepmoms Without Children. Join Ricky Rockdeff as she takes a deep dive into the fascinating people she meets and thinks that you should meet too. Find Stepmoms Without Children at themediavirus.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your fine podcasts. Special thanks to mysportsreports.com and delawaresports.com, delivering regional sports coverage straight to your devices via stream and podcast. Learn more at mysportsreports.com and delawaresports.com. If you wish to sponsor the Media Virus Podcast, email your contact information to pml@themediavirus.com. with the subject line sponsor, or leave us a message at 646-VIRUS-01. On behalf of the infection team and our feckless leader, Maddie Rockdeff, I'm the Reverend Professor Mike Latoris, coming from to you live high atop Uncle Butch Studios, with one hand firmly on the pulse and the other clawing for a shred of sanity. This has been the Media Virus Podcast. We'll be back next week. Find us at themediavirus.com, on social media, or download us now from your favorite podcast platform. Did that just lock up?